Not gonna lie, I don't know. I keep telling people this. You know those streamers that are like, streaming is hard. You have to do all hard work. That is very true. Streaming is very hard behind the scenes. But for me, no joke. You know the stereotype of like all streamers, everything a streamer does is sit down, click go live, and then end stream. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Like every insult
everyone
is
who
true
complains, every person who complains about like that we're just like streaming is really hard. It's like, don't get me wrong. There's aspects of streaming that is difficult, which is why I'm not a streamer, because I already know I can't do that. However,
finally got her.
being 9 to 5s, no, infinitely worse.
Dude,
Infinitely
yeah,
worse.
I
There is
agree.
no reason.
9 to 5 is one of the worst things ever.
Look, I did see one streamer actually go do a 9 to 5 because after all that discourse, they like went and did a 9 to 5, and they're just like, I'm never doing that again. Streaming is so easy.
Bro, I keep telling people this. People that say streaming is harder than a 9 to 5 is one of the... No offense, but you ain't the brightest bunch. Because I did a 9 to 5 for like 4 years, 5 years. It's great. I killed myself.
I mean, here's the thing, chat, is you may not believe, when I was coming, like back when I was coming, like starting work after graduating, I never had like a full-time job. I never even had like a part-time job. I had seasonal jobs.
Now you know how it feels like.
Well, I stopped once, but now that I've realized, I'm never gonna stop again. So I worked at a Macy's warehouse as my first job, and my hours were like 11 p.m. to 6 or 7 a.m. One of those. And I remember I wanted to quit so bad. I hated it. I was sitting next to some like, because all I did was like I would pack like boxes up. Like I would get items and pack them in boxes and label the boxes. Mind-numbing work, have the shittiest food in their like lunch break area, and then like there was a point where I was like sat next to this lady, and she started like talking real conspiracy shit. Like she's like, "Did you know the government's run by the mafia and Obama's a thug?" And I went like, "Oh, I need to get out of here, bro." I was like, "I need to get out of here."
You know, I'm telling you, right? This is my honest opinion when it comes to streaming. Is streaming hard? The action itself, no. But turning this into like a quote-unquote successful job. I put it on quotes because success can mean anything. But turning this into like a big thing, yes, that is hard. It's the turning it into something part that makes it hard. But the doing it itself, I wouldn't say it's... I'm not saying it's easy, but it's definitely easier than a 9 to 5. However, the nice thing about streaming is you can technically... Like, the chance of growing is open. You know what I mean? But in a 9 to 5, sometimes you work your ass off and you just never get that raise. And it pisses you off. Like, it bottlenecks you a little bit, you know? But when you stream, the only bottleneck is yourself. Which is a good and bad.
Well, here's the thing: is that at a 9 to 5, here's the other. Like,
you make it. Once you make
and then I keep talking over you.
Exponentially easier.
Streaming is hard until you make it. Once you make it, it becomes exponentially easier. I will say this. Oh my god. Okay.
I think it just becomes difficult in a different way. It becomes different, like it changes because like think about it like this. Because I've been doing work on my own for probably like 7 or 8 years now. So I've been doing music as work for like 7 or 8 years, and I had a good support net to allow me to do that. But like, here's the thing: when you work on your own, you are your own boss. You make your own hours. That's a good thing, and it's also a fucking terrible thing. Yes, because they're like, you will get this pressure in your mind that work has never stopped. Like, you don't clock out. You are clocked in.
True.
Like, you clock in and you never clock out. And so there'll be times where like you sit there and you're not working on something and you're just like playing a game or you're like watching something. You're just like, I could be working right now.
That's true.
Like that is the difficult part. And then there's also like, it's a very like, you have to be kind of really self-critical. You have to be really good at analyzing. Like, you have to be good at like social media, which is hellscape, hell on earth. Like, there's a lot of things that's like a different skill set. It doesn't beat a 9 to 5 in terms of how awful it is. Like, being a 9 to 5 is just bad, but like it's just streaming requires a different set of skills to be good at. That is also difficult, but it's just not difficult in the way that it's hard for everyone else.
Yes. The moment you said skill set, my brain short-circuited because you went skill set. I was yes.
Yes.
I think this is just my opinion, and I'm gonna sound like kind of entitled or like was it privilege or something like that, or like out of touch. But I'm telling you,
Privilege time.
I might, but I'm telling you, sometimes I meet people who want to be a streamer, but they want to be a famous streamer specifically. They want to make it big, like they want to grow, they want to have their name out there, etc. And I keep telling people, fame ain't what people make it out to be. You know, like you know how sometimes I tell Chad
people.
this. I tell Chad this all the time, where it's like I don't really want to grow bigger. I'm okay with my numbers now. If we do grow, sure. We'll see how it goes. Like we're gonna do our best and just enjoy our time naturally. But if let's say you blow up overnight, no. Because fame is fucking terrifying. People don't know this. Like people, they're like, oh, when you're not in a position where people's eyes are on you, or like you're used to only a certain amount of eyes are on you, you think like, oh, I want more than this. But then when you get so many people are looking at you, listening to you, they're critical of you, the more of those, it'll eat you the fuck up. I've seen cases where it turns out positive, but I've seen more cases where people blow up and they break down because of it.
Yeah, people, because we aren't built for it. Like we're straight up not built for it. Like people, this is deep conversation. Like us as human beings, we are just not built for that. We are not built to have that much attention on us. We are like, it's a classic thing where like the human mind can only withstand, I think it's like 150 connections before we start to lose track. Like you can only handle so much. So if you're famous, especially if you blow up, if you go from like not really known to like popular, you are just genuinely not capable of handling that. It's rough. And I tell people, it's just like, again, I say all the time, which is like, that's why I don't want to be famous, because I already know I can't deal with that. I can barely handle the relationships I have currently. I think if I have to deal with like people, it's like, but there's also like you deal with people like dehumanizing you. Like they don't see you as like a person. They see you as a concept, as like intangible thing. And so they don't treat you as a human. And so it's just like your privacy, your respect, it's gone because they don't see you that way. Like we just ain't built for this, man.
I know some people said that's why we have like there's mods and stuff. Mods do great work, but mods can't do everything, right? The best way I can explain it is, let's say sometimes, chat, here in stream, we like to joke about like, let's say, I have this mental thing. I joke about my own mental thing. And then suddenly I blow up and a lot of people are not comfortable with our jokes. Boom. You just get called out, canceled. Everything you do is like put under a microscope. And then now you're like, I can't do anything. So then now you feel restricted. And then, what can I do? And then your old viewers or old people that used to hang out with you, they're like, you've changed. It's a lot of things. It's the best way I can explain it is when people blow up or suddenly have a lot of attention on them, they change as people. That's not a bad thing. You know, everyone changes, but they can't handle the fact that with change, people come and people go. And they don't know how to like balance that. You know, it's like sometimes, let's say I change into a worse person. Some people will call me out. The people that care about me will be like, Michi, you actually turned into a horrible person. I now have a choice to be either, oh shit, let me fix that, or nah, fuck you. I'm big now. This is what works. I need to do it. So then I kind of burn that bridge, continue with a new one. It happens a lot. Sometimes my neck. Sometimes I get like a little bit concerned if someone just blows up overnight, because I'm like, as long as you're okay. But I've seen people, let's say they start off as normal people, like they're just chilling, hanging out, they blow up because let's say they sound good. And then they're not very comfortable with doing all this like, you know, fan servicey actions, but that's what works. So then they force themselves to do it and it eats them up. They lose their friends or they lose some contacts. They make new ones, but they're not comfortable. What do? Now they put themselves in a corner, right? They're like, I'm not comfy, but I can't get out because this works and I don't know what to do. And then, it blows up. So that's why I keep saying, chat, sometimes fame ain't what it's supposed to be. People think fame is great. My dad thinks fame is great. My dad has that like, I want people to know who I am kind of mentality. Like if I die, I want people to know who I am. Well, I have the mentality of I want to live. Oh, actually, I'm not gonna, if I have to be honest, if I died, I want at least some people to remember me. I don't want people to like everyone know who I was, blah, blah, blah. I just want some people to be like, you know what? One time I was going through shit. This person helped me out. That's all I want. You know, it's like just making one person happy at a time is good enough for me. But that's it. It's weird, everything else. But I know people that are like, they want fame. And
it's bad.
I keep saying this,
like,
right?
It's bad. It's bad.
This sounds bad, but the moment I talk to someone and they tell me their ambitions and their goals, but their ambition and goals revolve around fame, I instantly distance myself from them. Not all are bad, but from my experience, the most usually, I don't think it's like ambition is bad. I think ambition is good, but if your ambition is fame, I don't know. I feel like that just makes you worse over time. Maybe I'm crazy.
Let's think of it like this, okay? Fame is inherently fleeting. Like there is no, it is rare for anything to be famous, and I mean like famous in like the traditional sense of like culturally like relevant. Like staying relevant is hard, and it's very fleeting, and it changes with culture. And so if someone's like, I want to be famous and I just want fame, then they're basically saying I'm willing to become whatever I need to do, like whatever I need to be. I'm willing to become that to stay famous and relevant, no matter how bad it gets. And that's not a good sign.
This sounds bad. Again, I'm not throwing anyone, like, I'm not pointing anything. This is not a specific person, okay? Sadly, sometimes it happens. It's just what it is. I've seen way too many people. It's like you watch them become a person you don't even know anymore. But then people like them tend to be, they sacrifice anything to stay famous or to be famous.
You, Mono.
Yeah, I am. You worked with Bring Me the Horizon and you've changed, Mono.
That's not true.
You've changed. God.
This is not true.
At first you were nice
She just
to me.
hates me.
And then you worked with Bring Me the Horizon. Now you're so cold and distant. Oh. But I'm telling you, chat, if people are willing, if a person is the type of person that is willing to sacrifice anything to be famous or to stay famous, that includes you. And I don't want to be friends with someone that is going to sacrifice me to nothing anymore. Because I've been there, done that. I've known people that would just throw anyone under the bus to be whatever it is. And I ain't doing that no more. I don't want to start nothing. I don't want to cause nothing. And I don't want to be thrown under nothing. I feel bad because I feel like I'm judging someone. You know what I mean? It's like I'm judging you for your cover. Like the cover of a book. But I feel like I've read these stories way too many times to keep being like, maybe it won't. Nah, sometimes it's just not worth it, you know? People say it's like, oh, if you care about them, you'll help them change or you'll be there for them. Chat, you don't know how bad it feels to support someone so much and then they lash out at you, right? Or they throw you under the bus after everything you've done. Absolutely fucking not. Like, not being thanked is fine, but being thrown? Absolutely not.
When
it comes to content creation and shit, the hardest part is the growth. So at any point, if you're like comfortable, when you reach a level where you're just comfortable and you're happy, my genuine advice, you need to know when to stop. Right? Because I'm not saying like, chat, if you want to be a content creator, don't focus on the numbers. No, if I have to be very realistic, if you want to succeed in this sphere, sadly, you have to focus on the numbers because that's what makes you cash to pay for your bills. Because if not, then this is just a hobby. But if you want streaming or content creation as a job, then yes, sadly, you have to look at the numbers, right? During that time, you kind of have to balance like what works, what you like, what's comfortable, what is good, what is like, you learn, you get burned, you learn, and you fuck around, you find out. But please know when the end goal is. Don't keep trying to be bigger and bigger or growing and growing. You need to know when is a comfortable pace and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna relax here. Like this, where I am right now, I'm very grateful. I have never once been like, no, I am very, very happy and very grateful to be here. And I'm just gonna stay here. Like, I'm just gonna like lay down. It's like swimming, you know? Like you're swimming so hard at one point, you just relax and then you just enjoy yourself, because if not, you're gonna drain yourself out so fucking fast, man. So goddamn fast. It's not healthy for you. It ain't healthy for nobody. And I'm not saying like you're gonna fall off. Either way, either direction you go, if you're always trying to aim for higher and higher and higher and you're never stopping, the fall is gonna be steep as shit and the climb is just gonna get harder. So at that point, know when your limit is and just stay. You know, this sounds bad. I don't mean in a bad way, but sometimes we learn to be grateful and just relax in wherever we are. And that's good enough for, I think that should be good enough for a lot of people. You know, you don't gotta push yourself. You're already good enough. Sometimes it eats you up in your head. But that is where the entitlement comes from, because obviously I'm here, right? And I'm saying all this shit, but I went through that already. I'm just happy I got out of the other way. Like I got through that door still sane. Because I know a lot of people that went through that journey came out the other end kinda, you know, not in the best state. I'm just happy that I came out relatively okay. But I like to warn people to just be like, hey, be careful about this. And so don't push yourself too much. Don't be too hard on yourself. Be critical, but don't be too hard on yourself. And just learn, be realistic. You know, praise yourself when you do good things. Don't just criticize everything. You know, I've met so many indies that they're trying to grow, but one thing they always do is they always just look at their minuses. They're like, oh, this could have been better, that could have been better, this. That's a great mentality, but they never once go like, I did a good job. Never. And I sit there and I get really concerned. Like sometimes I say like, hey, you should praise yourself more, and they're like, oh, Michi, you're so nice. And I'm like, I'm not. This is a genuine advice. Like, but people just go like, oh, I love you too. It's like, what? I'm giving you genuine advice. Please do it.